everyone, welcome back. You've sent us some really interesting articles about financial services, all about how they're being designed these days, how reputation plays a huge role in this whole experience economy thing.
This sounds pretty complex.
It is, but fascinating too. Want to dive in?
Yeah, let's do it.
The main one we're looking at is titled Financial Services Design, Building Reputation for the Experience Economy.
Okay.
Really making me rethink, like, the old marketing playbook.
The classic 4 Ps.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Product, price, place, promotion.
Right.
It feels like that's all changing, don't you think?
Oh, definitely evolving, yeah.
Yeah.
The article makes a really strong case for why those 4 Ps are being replaced by purpose, process, platform, and people.
Purpose instead of product. That's a huge shift.
It is.
What do you think is driving that?
Well, it all comes back to the experience economy. Consumers are savvy now. They're not just buying a product or service anymore. They're buying into the story, the values, like the whole feeling they get from a brand.
So it's not enough to just have, like, the best widget anymore.
Yep.
You got to have a purpose that really resonates with people.
Exactly. And that purpose has to be authentic, too. It can't be some marketing ploy.
Right.
Consumers, especially younger generations, they're incredibly discerning.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the article points out that, like, a huge number, 64% of millennials, would actually reject a job offer from a company without a strong social responsibility focus.
That's true.
Wow. I have to admit, I kind of relate to that.
Yeah.
I do. I find myself, like, gravitating towards brands that align with my values. Why do you think that is? What's behind that shift?
Well, is it pure altruism?
Right. Like, is it just that?
Or is there something else going on? I think it's a combo of factors. I mean, obviously, there's growing awareness of all these social and environmental issues, right?
Sure.
People want to feel like they're part of the solution.
Yeah, they want to do some good.
But it's also about identity, isn't it?
Yeah.
Aligning yourself with certain brands or causes, it's a way to express your values and connect with like-minded people. It's like almost like a form of social signaling.
So it's not just about feeling good. It's about, like, being seen as someone who cares.
That's a big part of it, yeah.
And companies are picking up on this, right?
Or absolutely. They're realizing that social responsibility isn't just a nice to have anymore. It's like a business imperative.
Right.
It affects their bottom line,
Makes sense.
their ability to attract and retain talent. And of course, shapes their reputation in the market.
So this purpose-driven approach, it's impacting, like, everything.
It really is.
What about those other new P's: process, platform, and people?
Well, let's start with process.
Okay.
In the experience economy, it's not just about providing a service.
Right.
It's about crafting this seamless, enjoyable journey for the customer.
So every touch point matters.
Every single one.
Can you give me an example of what that looks like in the financial world?
Sure. Think about, like, opening a bank account.
Okay.
In the past, it was this whole thing. Going to the physical branch, filling out tons of paperwork, waiting in line. But now, you could do it online, in minutes, from your couch, all thanks to technology.
Totally.
But the best financial institutions, they're going beyond just digitizing the process. They're thinking about how to make it intuitive, engaging, even, dare I say, delightful.
I've noticed that, like, some banks are sending out welcome kits.
Yeah.
With personalized cards and fun perks and stuff. It's definitely a different vibe than, like, the stuffy formal experience I remember from, like, my parents' generation.
Exactly. It's about creating an emotional connection, not just a transactional one. And that brings us to platform.
Okay.
Digital platforms. Those are the new battleground for financial services.
It seems like every bank has an app now.
They do.
Is it really that important?
It's more than just having an app. It's about creating a platform that is user-friendly, accessible, and, meets the evolving needs of your customers.
Right.
That platform is the gateway to the whole experience. It's where you build relationships, provide value, foster a sense of community.
So it's not just about, like, transferring money or paying bills.
Yeah.
It's about creating a digital ecosystem where people can manage their whole financial lives.
Exactly.
Access financial education, connect with others.
Precisely. And that brings us to the final P, people.
That one seems pretty self-explanatory.
Is it?
People are at the heart of any business, right?
It is, and it isn't. In the experience economy, people refers to both employees and customers.
Okay, I see what you mean.
It's about fostering a culture of, like, empathy, passion, purpose within your organization. And then it's about building genuine connections with your customers, understanding their needs, creating experiences that resonate with them.
I'm sensing a theme here. Authenticity, empathy, purpose.
You're picking up on it.
Seems like these are essential for any financial institution that wants to, really thrive in the experience economy.
Absolutely. It's a paradigm shift.
Mm-hmm.
And the ones who embrace it, they're the ones who are going to succeed.
This all makes sense to me in theory, but how does it actually play out, in the real world?
Right.
Are there companies doing this well?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Like, what are the potential pitfalls? I mean, could focusing too much on experience lead to companies neglecting, like the actual quality of their products or services?
That's a valid concern.
Yeah.
There's definitely a risk that some companies might try to, mask subpar products or services with this shiny veneer of experience.
Right, exactly.
But I think that's where, discernment comes in. Savvy consumers, they're going to see right through that. They're going to demand substance and style.
Mm-hmm.
And they're going to hold companies accountable.
Makes sense. It's about finding that balance, right? The experience should enhance the product or service, not distract from it.
Exactly. And that's where good design comes in. The article really emphasizes the importance of financial services design in the experience economy.
Okay.
It's about creating products, services, platforms that are not only functional, but also aesthetically pleasing, intuitive, enjoyable to use.
I know we touched on this a bit earlier, but can we dive into those 10 tips the article gives for adapting to the experience economy?
Yeah, let's do it.
I think a few of them, focusing on user experience and incorporating financial education, would really resonate with our listeners.
Absolutely. Let's get into those.
Great.
Well, the article emphasizes right off the bat the importance of a smooth and intuitive user experience.
Right.
This applies to, everything. A bank's website, mobile app, even their physical branches.
Yeah.
Think about those frustrations we've all experienced.
Exactly.
Clunky websites, confusing navigation menus, those endless phone trees.
Oh, I hate those.
In the experience economy, those frustrations are deal breakers.
Oh, I've definitely switched banks before because of a frustrating online experience.
Yeah, me too. And it makes sense, right?
Yeah.
It's all about anticipating the needs of your customers and designing experiences that are effortless, enjoyable.
Totally.
The article also makes a great point about the importance of incorporating financial education. In the past, financial institutions, they kind of kept their customers in the dark.
Right.
Using jargon, complex terminology, almost to maintain this sense of mystique and control.
Interesting.
But in the experience economy, it's all about empowering the customers with knowledge.
That, resonates with me on a personal level. I remember feeling so intimidated when I first started managing my own finances.
Oh, yeah.
Had no idea where to start. Afraid to ask questions, because I didn't want to sound stupid.
So many people feel that way. And that's exactly why financial education is so crucial. When you empower customers with knowledge, you build trust, loyalty, help them make informed decisions. And you create a more equitable and accessible financial system overall.
Yeah. That makes sense. The article mentions the metaverse as a potential game changer in the experience economy.
Oh, yeah, the metaverse.
That's a pretty big leap from traditional banking.
It is. It is.
It really is.
The metaverse presents a whole new frontier for financial experiences. I mean, imagine being able to walk into a virtual bank branch, interact with a holographic avatar of your financial advisor, or, attend a financial literacy workshop, but in a VR classroom.
That's wild.
The possibilities are endless.
It sounds both exciting and a little overwhelming, to be honest.
It does, doesn't it?
How do you see this playing out in the real world?
I think it's still early days. But I'll tell you this. The institutions that are willing to experiment and innovate in the metaverse, they'll have a serious advantage. It's a chance to create truly immersive and engaging experiences, ones that really cater to a new generation of, digitally native consumers.
The metaverse is definitely something to keep an eye on.
Oh, absolutely. I'm curious, though, thinking about all we've discussed, what stands out to you the most? What are you taking away from all this, from this deep dive into the experience economy, sustainable banking? That's becoming a major force in this whole experience economy thing. It ties directly into this idea of purpose-driven finance that we were just talking about.
You're right. The article does mention that quite a bit, specifically these ESG criteria. To be honest with you, I'm not entirely clear on what that means.
Oh, sure.
Can you break that down for me?
Of course. ESG stands for environmental, social, and governance. It's like this framework that investors use to evaluate a company's sustainability, and ethical impact.
Okay.
So the environmental part, that looks at things like a company's carbon footprint, its impact on natural resources, and its efforts to, mitigate climate change.
So for a bank, this might be like financing renewable energy projects.
Yeah.
Or divesting from fossil fuels.
Exactly. On the social side, ESG looks at how a company treats its employees, its supply chain, the communities where it operates.
Okay.
Like, does it promote diversity and inclusion? Engage in fair labor practices? Give back to the community?
So for a bank, this might involve things like, I don't know, offering financial literacy programs in underserved communities.
Yeah.
Or providing microloans to, like, small businesses owned by women or minorities.
Got it. Then finally, the governance aspect. That looks at a company's leadership, its ethics, transparency. Does it have a diverse board of directors? Strong anti-corruption policies? Does it engage in responsible lobbying practices?
This ESG framework, it's pretty comprehensive.
It is.
But how does it actually translate to the experience economy? Like, how does it impact, consumers like me?
Well, okay. Imagine you're choosing between two banks. Right? One bank has a strong ESG track record. They invest in renewable energy. They support local communities. They've got a diverse and ethical leadership team. The other bank, well, not so much. They finance fossil fuel projects. They've got a history of, like, discriminatory lending practices, and their board is made up of, all old white guys.
Right.
Which bank would you feel better about giving your money to?
The first one, for sure. I want to feel like my money is making a positive impact, not, contributing to the problem. I'm sure a lot of consumers feel that way.
You're absolutely right. And the research backs it up. The article mentions this Deloitte study.
Okay.
It found that there's a strong correlation between ESG performance and financial performance.
Interesting.
Companies that prioritize sustainability and ethical practices, they tend to have better financial outcomes.
So it's not just about doing the right thing, it's actually good business.
Exactly.
Sustainable banking seems like a win-win. But I have to ask, are there any downsides to this whole experience economy thing? Like, is there a risk that, I don't know, focusing too much on the experience could lead to companies, I don't know, neglecting the actual quality of their products or services?
That's a valid concern.
Yeah.
There's definitely a risk that some companies might try to mask, like subpar products or services with this shiny veneer of experience.
Right.
But I think that's where discernment comes in. Savvy consumers.
Right.
They're going to see through that. They're going to demand substance and style. And they're going to hold companies accountable.
That makes sense. It's about finding that balance, right?
It is.
The experience should enhance the product or service, not distract from it.
Exactly. And that's where good design comes in.
Right.
The article really emphasizes, the importance of financial services design in the experience economy.
Yeah.
It's about creating products, services, and platforms that are not only functional, but also aesthetically pleasing, intuitive, enjoyable to use.
I know we touched on this a little earlier, but can we delve a little deeper into those 10 tips that the article gives for adapting to the experience economy?
Yeah.
I think a few of them, like focusing on user experience and incorporating financial education, those would really resonate with our listeners.
Absolutely. Let's dive into those. Well, the article emphasizes the importance of a smooth and intuitive user experience.
Okay.
This applies to everything, from a bank's website and mobile app to their physical branches. Think about those frustrations we've all experienced. Clunky websites, confusing navigation menus, endless phone trees.
Yeah, the worst.
In the experience economy, those types of frustrations, those are deal breakers.
Casually.
It's all about anticipating the needs of your customers and designing experiences that are, effortless and enjoyable.
For sure.
The article also makes a great point about the importance of incorporating financial education. In the past, financial institutions often kept their customers in the dark, using jargon and complex terminology to maintain a sense of mystique and control.
Right.
But in the experience economy, it's all about empowering customers with knowledge.
That resonates with me. I remember feeling so intimidated when I first started managing my own finances. I had no idea where to start, and I was afraid to ask questions, for fear of sounding stupid.
So many people feel that way.
Yeah.
And that's exactly why financial education is so crucial. When you empower customers with knowledge, you build trust and loyalty, you help them make informed decisions, and you create a more equitable and accessible financial system.
The article mentions the metaverse as, a potential game changer in the experience economy.
The metaverse.
Yeah.
It is a big leap from traditional banking.
That's a pretty big leap, yeah. It really is. How do you see this playing out in the real world?
I think it's still early days, but the financial institutions that are willing to experiment and innovate in the metaverse, they'll have a significant advantage. It's a chance to create truly immersive and engaging experiences that cater to the needs and desires of a new generation of, digitally native consumers.
It's definitely something to keep an eye on.
Absolutely. I'm curious, though, of everything we've discussed today, what stands out to you the most? What are your biggest takeaways from this deep dive into the experience economy?
You know what's really stuck with me through all this? This idea that it's not enough for financial institutions to just offer good products and services anymore.
Right.
They have to create a whole experience.
Yeah.
One that really aligns with people's values and aspirations and all that.
It's a huge shift. And it's not just in finance either.
Oh, yeah.
I think we're seeing this trend across industries, really.
That's interesting.
Consumers are demanding more from the brands they interact with. More transparency, authenticity, that sense of shared purpose.
It's like they want to believe in the brands they're supporting.
Exactly.
And companies are having to, adapt.
Oh, yeah. Big time. Or risk being left behind.
It's not just about selling a product, is it?
Nope. It's about so much more. Building a relationship, creating a community, telling a story that really resonates with people, on an emotional level.
This whole conversation is making me think about that example from the article about Dogecoin.
Oh, yeah. Dogecoin, the meme-based cryptocurrency.
Yep, that's the one. It seems like, a perfect example of how emotion and community can drive value in the experience economy, of course.
Interesting.
It started as a joke, right? But it tapped into something very real.
Like what?
A desire for connection, a sense of belonging, a shared experience.
Right.
And that's translated into, billions of dollars in market value.
Wild. It's a fascinating case study. It really shows how traditional notions of value are being disrupted in the experience economy. It's not just about tangible assets or financial metrics anymore.
Mm-hmm.
It's about the intangible stuff, the emotions, the stories, the shared experiences that connect us, as human beings.
What about the feeling?
Yeah, exactly.
And that's something financial institutions need to understand and embrace.
100%. The ones that do. Those are the ones who are going to thrive in this new landscape.
Okay, so where do we go from here? What are, the big takeaways you want our listeners to remember from all this?
Well, more than anything, I hope they come away with a deeper understanding of the experience economy and how it's, completely reshaping the financial services landscape.
Yes. We covered a lot today. The new 4 Ps of marketing, the rise of sustainable banking, the importance of that customer-centric design, the potential of the metaverse.
We did. We talked about the importance of authenticity, empathy, purpose. We discussed the need for financial institutions to build trust, to empower their customers, and to create those experiences that resonate on a gut level.
And we talked about how the experience economy isn't just about transactions.
Right.
It's about transformation for
Right.
both the companies and the consumers.
Exactly. It's an exciting time to be involved in the financial services industry, that's for sure.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see how things continue to evolve.
Me too. But before we wrap up, I want to leave our listeners with one final thought. The article we've been discussing focuses on financial services, right? But I think the principles we've talked about today, those apply to so many other areas of life too.
Oh, I agree. It's about being more mindful of the experiences we're creating,
Yeah.
both for ourselves and for other people.
It's about seeking out companies and organizations that align with our values and that are, trying to make the world a better place.
It is.
And it's about recognizing that the most valuable things in life, those aren't always the ones with a price tag.
That's a good point.
So as we navigate this, increasingly complex and interconnected world, let's all remember to invest in those experiences that really matter, to cultivate relationships that enrich our lives, and to, make choices that reflect our values.
Well said.
Thanks for joining us for this deep dive. Until next time, stay curious.